Today we're going to be going over different parts of a camera and how to use them. Let's first start off with how to use the on-screen interface, specifically how to adjust your date and time. When you first get a camera, one of the first things that it's going to have you do is set the date and time. If you've already set the date and time on your camera, although you're not sure it's correct, go into the menu system and then find the settings menu. And then as you can see right here, press date and time, and then you can change the time right here. You can adjust it using the touchscreen if your camera has one, or you can adjust it using the wheels. Now let's look at image formatting and different sizes. Most cameras will shoot in JPEG or large, and you can actually change this in the camera system menu. So what you do is you go back into the menu system, you go into the shoot menu, whatever it's called on your camera, and then you go to image quality and size, and as you can see, you can pick the different quality right here. So right now it's on RAW, we're going to change that to fine, which has a double set of blocks, and we're going to change it to large. And as you can see, you have different sizes here. This basically increases or decreases the actual resolution that your data is captured at. Now I like to shoot in RAW, so we're going to go ahead and change this back to RAW. Next we're going to learn how to use white balance. So on this camera there's a dedicated button for white balance. We're going to go ahead and press that. And then as you can see on the touchscreen here, we have different options as far as white balance. So we have some presets here, as well as you can go ahead and set your own. So you just use the touchscreen here and that will help you set your white balance. Or if you're like me, you want to stick to auto white balance, that's totally up to you too. Alright, now we're going to look at using the flash built into your camera. So first what you're going to do is turn it on without the LCD screen. If you have a camera like this, the Lumix G7, you might have a flash button that you just press and the flash comes out like so. Other cameras, it will have a button, like a button that will send a signal to the flash motor to come up. I know Canon cameras do that, I know Nikon cameras do that. Other cameras, like let's say if we were to turn it off, you press the button, it'll still come up. I know on Canon cameras you can't do that. So once our flash is up, we're gonna need to be able to use it. So if you have a mirrorless camera like this with a silent shooting option, you're gonna need to turn that off. So we're gonna go over here and turn off our silent shooting. So now we are able to use the flash when we take a picture. So let's say I'm gonna take a picture of my cell phone that's recording this video, and we're gonna press the button. And there it is. It's as easy as that. Now as far as red eye is concerned, most cameras don't actually have it built in, but if your photos have red eyes, what you can do is you can go into an application such as Lightroom Classic here. Alright, so this photo that we've imported into our Lightroom doesn't actually have red eyes, but what you would do in the Lightroom case is if our eyes were red, what we'd do is come over here, click this red eye correction, and then we would adjust our mouse wheel to the size of the red eye, and just click it. Then we would click the other one, and it would take care of those for you. But like I said, we don't have red eyes in this image, so there's nothing to take care of. Now for f-stop or aperture and shutter speed, most cameras will have two wheels, but some will only have one. So on this G7 we have two. So one wheel controls the f-stop and the other wheel controls the shutter speed. As you can see, if we use this lower wheel, that will adjust the aperture. And if we take a look here, you can actually see that when I move this wheel, that the hole or the iris is actually getting wider and smaller. The iris is the actual aperture of the lens, so this is what allows the light to pass through the lens. So when it's wide open, you get more depth of field and you have more light. When it is closed, you have a wider depth of field and darker image. Alright, now you have to bear with me because I'm doing this part live instead of pre-recording, but let's take a look at the lens. So, as you can see, this is what the lens actually looks like. So here we have our zoom ring, and here we have our focus ring. So, on most cameras, the autofocus and manual focus switch will actually be on the lens, but on this one, it's actually on the front. So, we can choose between two different autofocus modes and then manual focus. So, if we turn it into manual focus, If we turn it into manual focus, then by adjusting this top ring here, you can see that changes what is in focus and what is not in focus, just by adjusting this little ring. Now the next ring up here, this one, the one with all the numbers on it, that is your zoom ring. So you see me twisting that, and you see how the lens is going in and out like that? That is the zoom ring. So if I twist the lens on the zoom ring, as you can see, it is zooming in and out. So there you go. Some lenses are what is known as prime lenses, which means you can only focus and not zoom. These are typically what give you the more shallower depth of field, because you could have like something like a 25 1.8. Those are really good, but they don't zoom, you see, so they're stuck at the focal length that they're set to. Now, different drive modes. So most cameras come with different features such as single shot, multi-shot. Those are really the only two basic ones. So, but this camera, as you can see, it has single shot, multi-shot, 4K, whatever this one is, self-timer, and delayed shooting. So we're only going to go over single shot and multi-shot. So single shot, obviously you press the shutter button and it takes a photo, then you can press it again, it takes another photo. We already know how that works. Now if we change it into multi-shot, what you could do is what you'll see here is when I press and hold the shutter button, you can see that it continually shoots until the buffer is full and it needs to start offloading to the memory card. This camera can do about 8 frames per second, which is actually not too bad, and it can do that for about 4 to 5 seconds before the buffer runs out and it needs to offload to the card. Now if we take the lens off and do that same thing again, you can actually see the shutter working here, so let's just examine it real closely. So every time you see the shutter flash, that is it taking a new photo. Now I'm going to show you how to take the lens off of your SLR or mirrorless camera. So it's actually very simple. On most cameras there's a button that looks like this. You got to press it in and then twist it. And there you go. So now the sensor is exposed and now the lens is exposed. Now, similarly, if you have a lens hood, it's very simple. You just twist it one way and it comes off. You put it on, twist it the other way, and it attaches on. And that is not coming off at all unless you want it to by unscrewing it. So it's very secure, not going to come off, as is the lens. You know, it's pretty solid in there. It's not going to come off unless, of course, you twist it and it comes off. Very simple there. I hope you enjoyed this informational video on how to use your camera. I hope I taught you something good. If I did, please let me know. I'm happy to work with you on all your upcoming projects. Take care and have a good day.